folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little guy right here, Firefly the game, Kalidasa, the Rim Space expansion set. So this brings in another board for the game, but let's get down to the table and I'll show you everything that comes in the game and how it might change some of the nuances that the game offers. Okay, so this is everything that you're going to be getting in the Kalidasa expansion for Firefly the game, and each element I'll go over in a little bit of detail as we go through it, just to give you an idea of how this expansion adds to the base game. So first of all, there are these setup and 3 new story cards. Now, setup cards can be added to any story that you want to add it to, and it basically just changes how you set up the game. So for example, time is not on our side. You give a pile of 20 disgruntled tokens to the player taking the first turn. These tokens will be used as game length tokens. So every time that player takes a turn and finishes a turn, he discards one of those disgruntled tokens, and so the game is going to basically last only 20 rounds. And once that is done, the game is over. The person with the most credits wins if the story card has not yet been completed. So there's different things like that. Here it changes the number of jobs that are in the game. You only use jobs from Blue Sun and Kalidasa expansions. So there's a number of different things out there. This is kind of a real basic thing where you're just collecting things. It's a scavenger hunt basically. So this is pretty cool. These are neat little nuances to the game. You'll also notice that the expansion adds 2 more contacts. It adds the Magistrate Higgins and the Fanti and Mingo contacts, and it also adds the Beaumont supply deck there for that planet. So that's a pretty cool thing. And the difference here, though, is that some of the jobs now have bonus drop-offs. So you see that you have to load 4 passengers and then deliver passengers and or fugitives, get paid $300 per person, but along the way, if you stop at Zeus, Kalidasa, and deliver 2 cargo to get bonus, you actually get an extra 1,400 credits there. So these little bonus things can give you a lot more bang for your buck, I guess you could say, as you go through that. But that's something new that some of the new jobs in the game are offering. Also gives you 5 new supply cards for each of the different supply decks that are in the core game. Space Bazaar, Persephone, Osiris, Silverhold, and Regina. And then you're also going to get 5 new jobs for each of the core contacts that are in the game as well. So that's pretty cool. Another thing to note here is that every single card that is in the Kalidasa expansion has this little turtle icon on it so that you can easily discard them from the decks if you need to. You also get a new captain, Right, which is a dirty slaver. Whenever you deliver fugitives, you may take an extra $100 per fugitive. This counts as immoral. So there's a new captain leader that is in the deck. You also have a new Operatives Corvette model that comes in the expansion, and then you also have a Corvette contact rules that come in the game as well whenever you run into that. Also gives you more 2-sided Alliance or Reaver alert tokens, and so that's another way that just kind of makes the game a little bit more tight, a little bit more tense, I guess you could say. We also have new cards for the Alliance, Border, and Rim Space decks that are in the game. And you also get this addition to the board. So it adds all of these sectors to the verse, and it also adds this little inlay for the core board, which goes right here so that Higgins now has his little spot there. Now, one thing that's a little bit new about the Alliance, Border, and Rim Space decks is that now you have what are called nested skill tests within some of these cards. So you'll turn over, if you full burn in a Alliance sector, then you'll turn over these guys, and it'll say 10 bribes. So if you roll 1 through 9, you'll have to roll again, and if you roll 1 through 7 on that second roll, you discard 1 ship upgrade, if able, full stop, or if you roll at 8+, you evade. So if you roll a 10+, you keep flying, no worries. But if you roll a 1 through 9, you have to roll again, and then if you roll an 8 or higher, you still evade, you still keep flying. But if you roll a 1 through 7 on that second one, then you're kind of stuck in the water. Similarly speaking, the Alliance Interrogation, if you roll an 8+, you keep flying, no worries. But if you roll 1 through 7, you got to roll again. You roll a 1 through 7 again, you kill one crew, you get a warrant, and you full stop. If you roll an 8+, it's an evade. So they're in all of these decks, all 3 of them. So these nested skill tests add a little bit more to the, I guess, flavor of the game. And then in addition to that, some of the new core sets have these guys that are called indentured on them. And these are because of Higgins here and his precious mud that he sells throughout the verse. Scattered throughout the verse, there are these mudders that have run away from Higgins and he wants them back or something to that effect, or he just wants more people to work in his factories there. And it says, remove from play at Harvest Red Sun to take $500. This counts as immoral. So basically you're selling these people to Higgins. He's paying you $500 to discard this person at his spot. So all of the different supply decks have that added into them now. So that is all thanks to Magistrate Higgins. Now just a couple other things is that there are some jobs in the Magistrate Higgins decks that only work if you're also using the Blue Sun expansion. So if you don't have Blue Sun and you only have Kalidasa, then you would have to go through this and take out some of those Blue Sun jobs that Magistrate Higgins has. The Operative Corvette here is just another thing that another ship that you got to dodge as you're flying through the verse, but he's a little bit more relentless. So if you go through the Alliance Space deck, you'll see the card for the Corvettes, and he can move 1 or 2 spaces. The player to your right, I believe, is the person who decides where he goes. And so if you ever run into him, you have to remove one of your wanted crew from play. Gear and ship upgrades, though, that protect crew, wanted crew from those kinds of rolls, prevent this effect. And then you discard all fugitive tokens that are not in your stash, and if you're flying, you full stop. So running into him is not cool because, you know, he's pretty nasty. But all in all, this is a pretty cool expansion. Let's get to my final thoughts. So that is Firefly, the game Kalidasa expansion. I love expansions like this because they simply give you more of what the game already offers in different forms, and only slightly different forms. I like how the little nuances that they're bringing to the table with Kalidasa. I like the story cards that you add to the setup cards. I like the new embedded roles or jobs that come, the nested skill tests that come with some of the jobs and some of the encounter cards. I like how there's more rim, border, and alliance space encounter cards. I like how there are more people to go get jobs from. I like how they added new jobs to the old people that you had to go get jobs from. And I like how they added more cards to each of the different you know, the Osiris Shipworks and Silverhold and all of these other kinds of places, how they added more cards to that. I like how they did that. I like expansions that simply give you more of what you already know how to use. They don't throw you any curveballs. They don't throw you any, you know, really difficult rule set changes or anything like that. It's much more of the same, but just more of it, okay? So if you did not like Firefly the game to begin with, or maybe if, you know, Blue Sun messed it up for you, or maybe, you know, you just don't like this is not going to change your mind. However, if you do like Firefly the game, this is probably going to be right down your alley, and I would encourage you to go out and get it if you haven't yet already, because it simply does add simply more flavor, more context to the Firefly verse. So, with that being said, I really do enjoy what this expansion has done for the game, and I think it's great. So I know that's kind of short and sweet, but what else can you say? This is just one of the kinds of expansions that I think did its job perfectly. Doesn't mess anything up, doesn't add too much, but gives you just enough to keep your flavor interested in the game. So that is Firefly, Kalidasa. See you guys on the flip side.